Hey Toy fans, D21 Beast Rob here, back with another figure review for you guys here today. And today we're looking at the 2016 Marvel Legends Captain America Wave Red Onslaught Build-A-Figure series Mockingbird figure, or as Hasbro has it labeled, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. figure. Now before one of you guys nitpicks on me and says it's just called the Legends series now, it actually does say Marvel Legends on the back of the box, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. So I'm going to keep calling it Marvel Legends. But as I said, we do have Mockingbird here, and if you're not familiar with this character, Mockingbird, or Barbara Bobbie Morse, first appeared in Astonishing Tales number 6 from 1971, where she was created by comic book legends Wien and Neal Adams. First debuting as a PhD-level biologist working for S.H.I.E.L.D., Morse would eventually adopt the superhero alias Mockingbird in 1980's Marvel Team-Up number 95, written by Steve Grant and drawn by Jim Janes. It was during this era in comics when Bobbie's scientific know-how largely took a backseat to her highly developed close-quarters combat abilities and prowess with the sticks and a bow staff. In fact, those abilities are put on great display in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series, and before one of you guys types in the comments that show sucks, you better be able to explain to me why Daisy, Hunter, and May are more than just a random collection of words I pulled out of the dictionary. Now this Mockingbird figure is an Avenger that many of us Marvel Legends collectors have been waiting years for, and I'm pretty excited to see that we finally have her in action figure form. But before we take a look at the figure inside, let's go ahead and check out that updated packaging. As you can see, we still have the Build-A-Figure series emblem in the upper left. Instead of saying Marvel, or in this case Captain America, at the top of the packaging, we just have the words Legends series. We've got that same window box packaging design that we're used to seeing with the figure and the accessories inside, as well as the Build-A-Figure piece. But then down here at the bottom you can see it does say Marvel Captain America, replacing the Marvel Legends words that we're used to seeing in that location. Overall, I do find that the front of the packaging looks a little more elegant, I suppose, than Marvel Legends packaging had appeared up to this point. For comparison's sake, I'm going to go ahead and pull in the Age of Ultron Wave War Machine figure, and you guys can feel free to pause the video and spot all the differences in the packaging between the two. Flipping these packages around, you can see some other major changes have taken place. As I mentioned previously, we do have the Marvel Legends logo now pictured on the back of the box in the upper left, and we've got a bio for this figure in the upper right. Go ahead and pause now to read that. Then as we come down the packaging, we have a much more dynamic image of the figure than we had seen previously in Marvel Legends boxes. And as you can see here, Mockingbird shares packaging with Agent Sharon Carter. But then the last third of the box is largely the same to what we've seen before. You still have the Build-A-Series emblem, followed by the lineup of all the figures in the wave, with the Build-A-Figure pictured off to the left. Alright guys, well that's the packaging. Let's get this X-Barton out of the box and see what she's all about. Alright, and here we are toy fans with Mockingbird out of the packaging, and I'm loving this figure. Hasbro did an amazing job sculpting this figure. Most of the pieces on this figure, from the torso, to the arms, to the feet, to the head, to the hair, pretty much everything appears to be a brand new sculpt for this figure, which is impressive considering that this isn't a movie-based figure, this is a comic book-based figure. And honestly, short of making a House of M Mystique, I don't know how much of this costume they can actually reuse for a future Marvel Legend. So thank you Hasbro for putting the proper love and attention into this figure from the start. She's got the baton accessories that you see here. Let's go ahead and take a look at those really quick. They are actually a harder rubber than what we saw with the Daredevil figure. They plug in nicely. It's a tiny bit warped out of the packaging. I'm not complaining too bad about that though. Most of the time I'm going to have this Mockingbird figure holding these batons separately, so you're not really going to notice the warping at all. She also has a couple of Build-A-Figure pieces for the Red Onslaught figure. Now the packaging calls it just Red Skull, but this is Red Onslaught from Axis. Here's the torso. We also have a couple of shoulder pads. I don't know if I'm going to 100% complete this Build-A-Figure, but I'm going to get enough pieces that I need so I can go ahead and construct the real Onslaught when the X-Men wave of Marvel Legends comes out later this year. But as you see here, very, very cool looking figure. Let's go ahead and pull her up close. The hair sculpt is really nice. Lots of strands of hair sculpted in there. There's no actual wash or any sort of paint detailing though, so that's a minor complaint, but really not holding back my enjoyment of the figure at all. She has this sort of eyeglass piece on her face, which I honestly thought was just going to be glued on as a solid piece, but you can actually remove these glasses if you want and have the figure's face fully presented. Now the eyes are a little wide, I think, but you know, people come in all different shapes and sizes, so I'm not complaining too badly about the eyes there. I do think it's a very nice head sculpt, and again, nice to see that we're not just getting the Moonstone / Miss Marvel face sculpt over and over again. And the makeup that's been painted on the lips and the eyebrows, they're all just painted very, very nicely and very cleanly. Also, the flesh tone of this figure, I think, is very believably, well, a flesh tone for a real person. And I like the choices they've gone with for the head here and for the chest. Coming down, we have some paint here on the actual arm here for the silver bands. We have some clean paint on the torso. The buttons have been sculpted. Those aren't just decoed on. Those are actual sculpted buttons. And I love that the wrinkles in the fabric have been done the way they have been. Especially here, and this is just kind of a minor detail, I guess. Not a huge thing, but for instance, there's a wrinkle that starts here on the back and goes all the way around to the front of the figure. I mean, just a great attention to sculpted detail. The belt is not a separate piece. That's actually sculpted into the figure and painted cleanly around that. Coming down the figure, here, we have more paint here on the legs, and then we have these great sort of knee pads with bumps kind of sculpted in them, and then the actual boots with the buckles on the side. Might have been nice to get some paint detail on the buckles themselves, but I'm not complaining because this is still a really good looking figure with a bunch of great paint detail. The range of articulation on Mockingbird is pretty solid, but this also highlights some of my complaints about the figure. Let's start with the head sculpt. While I love the head sculpt and the hair sculpt for this figure, the hair is actually a hard plastic. It's pretty restrictive when you try to rotate her head. She can only really look back and forth about that far either direction. Now she does have a disc hinge in the neck if you look up there, but she can't really look forward at all and really not look back at all. And another thing I noticed is I don't think there's a ball joint at the top of that neck joint. It might actually be a mushroom peg or something. I haven't heated the figure, but I have a hard time pulling her head off, and I really wanted to kind of see what this head might look like on a Maria Hill body, for instance, but it's just not coming off for me. So I don't know what that is there. If you guys discover, let me know in the comments below what you think that is, but I kind of wish that would have been easier to remove. But then coming down the figure here, we have a forward rotation here at the shoulder, as well as a hinge that bends out from the body about that far. No bicep swivel. There is a single jointed elbow, which is only a slight bummer on this figure. I'm not having trouble posing in her too many ways. It does rotate all the way around though at a single joint. She has a rotation here at the hip, wrist, and then a hand bends back that far, down that far. She's got a torso joint here that bends back very, very far, which almost a little bit anyway, helps make up for the lack of head articulation, and bends forward very far as well. No rotation at the waist. Hip joints will bend forward that far, bend back only about that far, out from the body pretty decently. Forward rotation here at the upper thigh. It's a bit tight on my figure. And then coming down, we have double jointed knees. We've got a foot that bends forward that far, bends back that far, has that great ankle pivot that we expect from Marvel Legends these days. The hips are a bit loose, but really she's got a great range of articulation, and I don't have any trouble posing this figure. Mockingbird stands at a great height. She comes in at just a little bit over 6 inches tall. For some size comparison, here we have Mockingbird compared to the Target exclusive Marvel Legends Miss Marvel figure. Here she is compared to last year's Daredevil figure using that go-to mold for Hasbro, the Bucky Cap mold. And finally, here she is compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine.
Hey, nice to meet you. The name's Logan.
What? I know that.
Oh, of course, we've met before. You're on the Avengers, right?
Yes.
Avengers, let's see. You're Hellcat.
No.
Silverclaw.
No.
Who else is there? Moonstone.
No! Shouldn't you remember my smell or something?
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the Marvel Legends Captain America Wave Red Onslaught Build-A-Figure Series Mockingbird figure released by Hasbro in 2016. Overall, as I've kind of stated already, this figure impresses me quite a bit. There's a lot of original pieces that have been painted very nicely on this figure. I think the accessories are appropriate, including the surprise removable glasses. And while I do wish the head had better articulation and the hips are a little bit wobbly, I don't have any trouble posing this figure every way I like to. And this is a figure that really proves to me that Hasbro is actually trying and really wants to make the collectors happy. I really think it's one you want to add to your collection. Definitely pick it up. Well, thanks for watching this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys like what you saw here, give this video a like and share it with your friends. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.